For the fans, by the fans. Welcome to the only Angels postgame show that keeps it real, win or lose. No filters, no fluff, just raw reactions right after the final out. The Golden Stamos is polished up and somebody's about to take it home. A clutch hit, a game-saving grab, or just straight up hustle. We see you. But if you played like trash, you're getting the dreaded Nacho Night Award. We saw the missed calls, we saw the blown saves, the clutch moments, and the disasters too. Your comments are front and center, and yeah, we read all of them. Wanna let loose? Call in and sound off live. No scripts, no suits, no spin. This is raw, this is real, this is where the fans take over. This is the Hiti postgame show with Todd Fox. For the fans, by the fans.
I'm a fox. My name's Todd.
Hey, welcome into another episode of the Halos in the Infield postgame show. I am your host, Todd Fox. On a long day, it's Sunday evening now. It's around dinner time, so hopefully you and yours are having a good meal right now or enjoying the company of a friend or a girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever the hell. It's Sunday. It's a Sunday fun day, but unfortunately it wasn't a fun day for your Angels out there. Before we get all to that, this is the Halos in the Infield postgame show, and you can sound off in the comments or hit us up, whatever you got to do. We're a little late today, and I went to the game. I was there. My girl won a contest today, so that was cool. We were on the Jumbotron because we're actually there. We're like fans in the stands like you, and we're one of the people, man. We love jawing it up with fans. We ran into a lot of them today, said hi. Shout out to everybody that was at the stadium that came by and said hi to us. We got a lot to talk about today as the Angels got all the way back to 500. And 2 shows ago, I opened my mouth about a month ago and said, the way the Angels are playing, if they get back to 500 at any point this season, I will go on air and wear a thong. And guess what? The thong did me wrong, because as soon as I said that, the Angels won 8 in a row to get to 500. I wore a thong, and since I wore a thong on the postgame show, we're 0-2. How do you lose to the Miami Marlins? Miami Marlins were 19-29 before they came in. We beat them to make them to 19-30, and we've given them 2 cupcake victories where, again, the offense outside of game 1 reverted back to the Baltimore series before we went on the road trip, which was not swinging for base hits and moving guys over and walking and being patient at the plate. We went back to, hey, let's swing for the fences, fly balls to right field, center field, lazy fly balls, strikeouts. It was a bad game today, and we're going to go all through that today. You got Taylor Ward needs to be on the trade block. We're already talking about that. Paris isn't good. We're going to get into all the comments today. So 0-2 since the thong. Angels today get shut out 3-0. Only 3 hits today. And again, you can look at it. Some people will say Kyle Hendricks sucks. 3 runs and 8 hits. And actually, he gave up 3 runs and 7 hits. So 3 runs, 7 hits in 6 innings is a quality start, like it or not. Whether he led with a lead or not, which he didn't. But 3 runs is not a lot to come back from. And he gave you 6 innings, and the bullpen gave you an additional 3 to catch up, and you put up goose eggs. It started from the start with this game, and I will say this. This is the one thing that pisses me off about Ron Washington. It has pissed me off since Joe Madden took over. Meaning, when the Angels have a chance to go for a series win, and especially, and here's my mindset. I ran this by Saucy when I ran into him. By the way, shout out to Saucy. I got pretty pissed off, and I told him, you know what? What makes me mad about this team is the analytics rule everything, number 1. And number 2, they make dumb decisions. Like, say, for instance, if the Angels had won yesterday, okay, I get it. I get the justification for sitting Neto maybe, not O'Hoppe too, but I can say, okay, sit either Neto or O'Hoppe, pinch hit one of them, but give one guy the day off, right? Don't sit them completely until the 9th inning. And again, we're not going on the road after this game. There's no travel issues. There's no, hey, we're tired. You get to stay in your bed. Miami takes off. We're waiting on the Yankees. We're on the homestand. Why are we resting players? And it's not like you won the day before against Miami to where you have the luxury of, well, the cherry and the sprinkles on top of the ice cream sundae we created is the only thing we need to do with the sweep, right? We've already won the series. No, you didn't win the series. We're tied. This is the rubber game of the series. And since Joe Madden, since Numbnuts Nevin, and now Ron Washington, we still have the not chasing wins mentality. It's like, hey, you know what? The guys still need their day off. We're going to play this one like we already wrapped up the series. No, you don't do that. You go for the jugular if you're up 2-0. Fine, if you don't want to do that, at least you realize, hey, you guys didn't earn it enough. You didn't win yesterday to where you can have a day off. They don't need a day off. You play your best and get your W's because look at the last 2 nights had they won, Seattle had finally lost 2 games in a row, and the Angels would be only 2 games out of first place. Instead, you're still sitting 4 games out and crawling all the way back to 500 just to fall back 2 games. That's insanely ridiculous and frustrating at the same time. That's what I was looking for. It's so frustrating as a fan because you know his team can play better. And who the hell got these players back to swinging for the fences the last 2 nights? No generating of offense. Kyron Paris looks lost. Joe Adell's just as useless. No, why not bunt these guys? Last I checked, Kyron Paris is pretty fast. Joe Adell's pretty fast. And then Ward has gotten back in the last 2 games. I don't know. They went back to just whatever. Is it playing at home? Do they like to disappoint the fans at home? Because Taylor Ward went back to, let me watch the first 2 pitches go down the middle. And then let me swing like crazy on the next few pitches. They had only a couple chances in this game, and they blew both of them. It was bad. I mean, look, the Kana Dana thing was so stupid yesterday. I went on a rant on that because you're ruining that kid. He's a starter, and you keep bringing him up as a long man. It's the dumbest thing I've ever seen. And you're all like, oh, he got shredded up here? That's because he's not a starter. We just talked to 2 minor league pitchers the other day who say they're thriving because they found a position for them. They have a role. So they go and they know when they go to the stadium what inning to stretch because, hey, I might be coming in the 6th inning. I might be coming in the 7th inning. Those are my 2 innings if I do pitch. Or I might be an 8th inning guy, might be a 9th inning guy. Or, hey, there's a chance that if the starter's struggling, I'm going to go long in this game. So I better stretch out earlier in the game, right? You're more focused in the game, and then you got to get ready in the bullpen. You got to start doing your stretches, and you got to start doing the medicine ball and all that stuff. Not this team. I don't know how or why they do the things that they do, but I know that what they do is pretty stupid. Losing to the Marlins is inexcusable. You played your ass off against, and again, Oakland was hot before we started that road trip. They cooled off just before we got there, and we helped them cool off even more. But the Dodgers were hot. The Padres were hot, and the A's were hot, and we ran through all 3 of those teams pretty good. Blew one of the games in San Diego, and we would have been 9-1 on the road trip. You come home against a struggling Marlins team right before the Yankees, and I hope, I said it before this series started, don't overlook the Marlins. They have a no-name lineup, but don't overlook them. Don't. They play scrappy, although their talent doesn't justify the 20 wins they now have. It really doesn't or 21 wins. Look at their roster. Pitching-wise, bullpen-wise, hitting, a bunch of no-namers. They shouldn't even have 21 wins, but they do. They're scrappy. Don't take them lightly. They did. Because I bet you anything, Ohapi, what are you even seeing online? People showing Ohapi throwing the ball at Yankee Stadium after a Judge home run or whoever hit the home run, right? They're showing stuff like that. They're already prepared. Angel fans are prepared for the Yankees. How do you think the players are feeling? They can't wait to get that Yankee series. During the game today, they were like, hey, stay tuned for the Yankee series. Yesterday, same thing. Stay tuned for the Yankee series. Dude, calm your tits. We'll get there when we get there. We still had games against the freaking Marlins. And I think that's what contributed to the Angels' real shitty performance. They didn't take the Marlins seriously, and they didn't do their homework. But here's me and Steve Lease getting on TV in the Jumbotron. she got fan of the game and they gave her like $100 juice it up card or whatever. And then it clearly says on the back, but you can't use it at the stadium. It's like you get $100, but you can't use it at the stadium. So that was awesome. And then there's a picture of us right there. Oh, okay. That was the background. My bad. But yeah, you get the idea. So we were there at the stands, and that was like the most exciting thing for us anyway, not for the fans probably. They're probably like, who are those tools on the scoreboard? But either way, we had a good time at that point, but the Angels did nothing on offense. Let's go through that awesome offense, which deserves this, by the way. Where did it go? Did I accidentally erase that? No, it's right here. This is what their lineup looked like.
Wiener, 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 next to another wiener, 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 two wieners alongside yet another wiener party, wiener party, party party, wiener wieners nice and soft, non-erect wieners. Flopping wieners, flopping wieners, dangle wieners, dangle wieners in my bag.
Stop, please. I can't take anymore.
That's what it was. It was a bunch of wieners tonight. So the Angels lose because they're awesome hitting again. Terrible lineup. You know, Tim Anderson led off with a single. We leave him at first base, and then he tries to steal second base while, you know, I think Moncada was up and he got thrown out. You had Neto go 0 for 1 in a pinch hitting role. Shonawell went 0 for 3, 2 strikeouts. You had 15 strikeouts. 15. Again, you were striking out. You were starting to get close to league average. You were getting about 7 or 8 per game. League averages between 5 and 6. They were starting to get it down to that point because we've been habitually over 10 and above most games. Again, 21-7 record when striking out 10 or less times. So you want to keep it under 10, but these guys are flailing like a fish out of water at everything. Moncada 0 for 3, 2 strikeouts. Taylor Ward 0 for 4, 2 strikeouts. Soler the hat trick, 3 strikeouts. D'Arnaud 1 for 2 and a strikeout. Renifo 1 for 3 and a strikeout. Adele 0 for 3 and nothing. Kyron Paris was 0 for 2 with 2 pathetic strikeouts. He looked overmatched. 3-pitch strikeout once again. Tell me if you've heard that before. Kyle Hendricks didn't pitch bad again. A quality start, 3 runs, 7 hits. There was only really 1 hard hit ball hit off of him all game. He had no walks, 5 strikeouts. He just didn't get any run support whatsoever. Brogdon, again, gave you a nice little inning right there with a hit allowed. And then Eder went 2 innings, allowing just a walk. So the bullpen did its job. But you let Cabrera beat you 5 2/3. You let Bender come in there, shut you down, Foucher, and then Henriquez, or whatever his name is, just obliterated you. You only left 5 guys on base, 0 for 3 with runners in scoring position. They left only 5 guys on base, but guess what? 3 for 8 with runners in scoring position. That was the whole, the seal the deal thing right there. Freaking Angels. That's all I can say. 25-27. Again, you guys got me in a thong because I put my foot in my mouth and said, hey, this team will never get back to 500 for a while. And I didn't think they were going to get back to 500. And they did. It got me in a thong. And since I got in a thong, we're over 2. 0 for 2, baby. Very disappointing. Again, being there at the game, 3-0. A lot of kids in the stands. I mean, a lot of kids in the stands. And they got disappointed. I hate seeing that, by the way. You have all these little leaguers come there. They're going to, run the field, run the bases or whatever after the game. And they're all goofing off and everything. But that's the future of the baseball, franchises around the world, or just the fans. That's the future. That's your high schoolers. That's your college players. That's your minor leaguers. That's your major league hopefuls. That's all the kids with big dreams. And you gave them nothing. Angels literally showed those kids not how to swing if they were paying attention between their helmet nachos and helmet ice cream and Bandai Namco and all that other crap flashing across the Jumbotron. And us, actually. So with that being said, now let's get into, the losing slide, which is the worst song, the saddest song, as they were losing from first pitch to last pitch. Halo Luke said, tired of Kyle Hendricks over there on X and has his 5 innings, 3 to 4 runs per game, free Detmers and Dana. It's not, he's a serviceable pitcher. But however, if you can't score runs, it doesn't matter who. If Dana's in there throwing a 1-hitter and 1 run allowed, you're going to lose 1-0. So I mean, the offense has got to pick it up. Before I get into more comments, I got this John Stamos for best player on the field. Wow, the Golden Stamos has evolved. I like that, Randy. I like that. So I'm seeing it first with you guys here. I'm going to give the Golden Stamos to Kyle Hendricks. I don't care. Cabrera could have got it with the 10 strikeouts, but come on, we were helping him out. So I'll give it to Hendricks only because he kept the Angels in the game. So he gets the Golden Stamos tonight. Miami didn't blow you away with any kind of offensive explosion. They only worked 1 walk, and we had worked 3 walks, but we struck out 15 times. That is so pathetic. So pathetic. And Nacho Night Award is going to go to a handful of players.
Nacho Night, oh yeah, Nacho Night. Pile it up, load it high. Extra shame, hold the pride. Grab a fork, take a dive. Diggity's gone, but the cheese survives. It's the Nacho Night Award.
I'm seeing that one for the first time too. Holy shit, that's really good. I like that one, but it's really disturbing and disgusting. The monkey coming out of the toilet eating the nachos. That is nasty. Because how did those nacho cheese, or is that still cheese that's in there, if you know what I mean? That is disgusting, but I like it. It's really good. A nice little twist right there. LT likes The Season Starts Tonight by Roger Lodge. We love playing that, by the way. That is like one of my favorite audios to play on here.
We got a lot of baseball left to be played, and the season starts tonight.
Absolutely. That is gold all the way, no matter what. But the John Stamos Award is always given away that way to the pitcher that did good. And again, I'm going to give it to Hendricks. I'm going to be a little biased. Now, as far as the Nacho Night Award, I'm going to give it to Shonowell, Moncada, Taylor Ward, Soler, Adele, and Paris. All you guys sucked today. I mean, my God, go back to the batting cages. I mean, seriously, and look, is there any wonder who's going down? And I love the kid. I want him to be better. Again, I've said it over and over. We interviewed him. He couldn't have been nicer. But Kyron Paris, come on, for the love of God. We've seen enough of your approach. It needs to change. You need to work something out. You need to start bunting. Use the speed. Every time he gets on, he scores. Every time he gets on, he steals the bases. As much as he's not been on base all year this year and the funk that he's been in, guess who still leads the team with most stolen bases? Yes, Kyron Paris. So that should tell you, even if you get your average up to 220, 230, you're going to be a really good weapon for the Angels. But the problem is you can't do that because you have the same uppercut approach. Flatten out your swing, shorten up your stance, choke up on the bat, do all the stuff they tell you as a kid, and work with what the pitcher gives you and get on base, make contact. Stop hitting fly balls and striking out. You at least hit him on the ground and try to beat him out. He's not even doing that. We saw a couple good at-bats on the road trip. We thought he was starting to turn it around. No. There's no reason for him right now to be up because he's just an automatic out right now. And I feel bad about that because his defense in center field is pretty good. It's better than Adele. It really is. And it's better than Lugo. But we're going to have to sacrifice and send him down when Trout comes back. There's just no doubt about that. No doubt about that in my mind. Sebastian says, it's time for Spritz o'clock. Have a botanical spritz on him.
Spritz o'clock, Angels play. Win or lose, we toast today. Sip and cheer, no matter score. Spritz o'clock, let's pour some more. Spritz o'clock, let's pour some more.
Corey on TikTok says, I wonder why Logan and Neto weren't in the lineup today. Because they were tired, Corey. That's the stupid mentality and the analytics up the ass. StatCast blunders by those nerds. They got to give these guys that are core players a day off. And for what? Again, this isn't a travel day. You're not going nowhere. Miami is, which means you have extra rest today. So there's no reason why a starter, a reliever, should be scratched from the game unless they are truly injured, which they aren't, which you pinch hit him in the ninth. But you could have had him after the fifth inning at least. Give them at least 2 at-bats when you saw that clearly your offense was struggling. Clearly you could have did something with O'Hoppe, traded him for Darno. In the lineup, you could have moved Neto into the infield, which you had easy outs there with Tim Anderson and other guys. I mean, just come on. What are we doing here? Missed the game, Q Lombardi. So we go right to the coach. The coach needs to speak out on this one. Where is he? There he is.
What the hell's going on out here?
Also, Jason Hess says, hold on. Oh, no. Daniel says, yo, what's up, everybody? Grillmaster says, I'm tired of Taylor Ward. Jason Hess says, I thought you had no content. What a tool. Thank you. Jason says, spent the day at the Ocean Beach, missed the game. Going well, watching tomorrow. Well, you're doing more than what the Angels did. Also, how do you score runs in this game called baseball? Tyler says, the thong did me wrong. Midapi says, I got good tickets from work to watch a 66ers suck instead. Only good thing today was I got free tickets. There you go. Perry needs to go right there. Also, Saucy says, lazy performance today. They were down by 3, acting like they were down 30. Absolutely. It was terrible. How are you down only 3 and you're not trying to scratch across the run every other inning or every inning? Try to at least get 1. Chip away at the lead. You don't need a 3-run homer. You don't need a 2-run homer. Hell, I'll take a solo at this point, but you don't really even need to swing for the fences. Just try to get guys on, move them over, try to bunt, try to freaking steal. No, we can't do that. Halo swung through everything. Q Lombardi.
What the hell's going on out here?
They sure as hell did. Lee, my boy, checks in with 3 hits, 15 strikeouts. That's not exactly being balanced. Wilbur said, oh no, we suck again.
Oh no, we suck again.
Yep. Also, Jason says Gavin lost his wallet in Vegas when he asked to see the camera. Police said balls, and a tasty nut. And let's get into his long-winded answer.
On everybody, my name is Gavin Carlson, former credential journalist in the LA area. How about a yummy tasting nut?
No.
If you don't know who I am, what's going on, everybody? My name is Gavin Carlson, former credential journalist in the LA area. Spent not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 years covering UCLA sports, specifically with the Daily Bruin, writing articles, conducting interviews, all that good stuff. Cracking to a good source of protein with how about a yummy tasting nut? I love the nut. Yummy, yummy, yummy. Had me fired up.
He's fired up by that yummy tasting nut. Saucy says his team doesn't get on base. If they don't get home runs, they can't win. They need to shake up this personnel. Exactly. The Archangel says we need goose size eggs, size balls and baby oil. He's going sick Diddy.
For you to check out what I want. I want balls and John Stamos.
Baby oil. Jack says, aye, man, at least we're only 4 games back out of first. We could have been 2. Also, Artie Sucks says Paris needs to go down and work on his swing and Adele needs to be released. That could possibly happen by the All-Star break, but I think our boy goes down Paris first. I think you have to play Lugo more. You have to – I don't know who you bring up in the organization to replace Paris if Trout is not ready, because we keep hearing the same thing. It's like, hey, Trent, do you have an update on our boy Mike Trout? And then Trent goes, well, here's the thing. Mike Trout, he has started to do baseball practices, but they're not going to clear him until he's able to run. When he's able to run, then he will be cleared to play baseball. And so that's what I got right now. No timetable right now, Gooby. No timetable. But everything's awesome. Everything's awesome. Keep buying tickets. Balls, and Buttercup again. Buttercup, you have to have the lead, but I'll give it to you this time, James.
For you to check out what I want. I want balls and John Stamos.
Buttercup. Saucy says, and all that winning tuckered them out. They were just too tired. Tony C says, why the hell are the Angels not trying to steal bases? Why did they refuse to steal bases? Please send Paris and Lugo down. They need to rattle the cage, bring up Stevens. You got Stevens down there. You have Kai Boom. There's a few guys that are killing it right now, and you might have to give them an opportunity or two. Also, it's up to the trainers right there now at this point for Trout. Jack is saying possibly back for the Yankees, but we've been hearing that for a while. They need to give Neto a rest, Hoppy a rest, only to bring them both in the 8th inning, and both failed. Now they're going to be going into a Yankees series with no confidence. Yep, the Angels suck is right. Patrick says, I saw you on the Jumbotron doing a rock, paper, scissors thing. Patrick says, yes, I was there. Randy says, hey, Todd, it's Randy's. You're famous now, so you're famous now, so I don't know if you remember me. Yes, I do. I just butchered your name. James says, I think they are more focused on the Yankee series, thus justifying giving Neto and Ohapi the day off. That's so stupid. I told you it's the curse of the thong, Q Lombardi. Man, you guys just enjoyed the thong too much. What the hell's going on out here? Shout out yet again, QL. Also, Randy says, should have had a dance in the thong. Rye Guy says, one more loss that could have been a win. Oh, yeah, that is truly disgusting.
One more loss which could have been a win. You call yourselves professionals. I have never, ever seen a worse group of 25 players. You
26.
don't think as a team. You don't play as a team. You don't even lose as a team.
Yeah, I know. They don't. Also, Grillmaster says something's awfully fishy around here. Here we go. Calm them titties right there. Patrick also says, I know how to cheer you up, Todd. Balls in my mouth. That always gets me all. And then when he said it that one time in person and smiled.
Time for you to check out what I want. I want balls and John Stamos.
When he said that in person, that just had me rolling. I just kept picturing our boy Patrick right there saying balls. Hey, it means balls in my mouth. That was classic. 2 days in a row, I'm on TV. Yes, Randy says at least someone won today. Tamir 20 says they need a day off. They look flat and sluggish. Tyler says should have been on the Jumbotron showing that pasty white ass to represent the Halos performance. Andrew says had the whole family participating in Spritz O'Clock last night. Let's pour some, baby. There you go. Patrick said Tim Anderson should be out of the league. He's working his way on it. He's working his way out the door. Right Guy says we're so back to sucking. Also, Ron woke up and decided to put the worst lineup available. Why does every team with a bunch of nobodies know how to get hits and expect it from us? Because they just put the barrel of the bat on the ball. Did you guys watch the Pirates series? It was the same damn approach, and they flanked us too with all kinds of hits. Also, the Deos happened so many times. One of my brothers thought it was a text tone. Dude, okay, Andrew, you were there today. The highest Deo count I've heard all season, and I've been to most home games, was 18. We were keeping count, 3 of us, and we heard 20 fucking times. And we thought that was going to go at least 25 because the 20th, the last one was in the 8th inning. So I was like, Steve Lee said, we get a couple runners on base, they're going to play a Deo at least 3 more times. And they might play one in the top half of the 9th because this crowd is so dead because most of the kids went downstairs to get on the field when the game was over. So I was like, dude, I know we're going to hear some more Deos. So right when I thought and expected a Deo or 2 or a bunch, there was none in the 9th inning. So even though we were shut out, that was disappointing. It was disappointing not to get more Deos. I really wanted 25, but it was 20 fucking Deos. 17-25 vibes for the second day in a row. Ron Washington needs to tell these guys to focus on today's game and not any other. Also, no Deos today, Toddy. Yeah, no runs, because usually on here we play Deos for every run scored. So I was just playing that Deo as a representation of the Deos we heard in stands. Saucy says they act like beating the Yankees gives us a bonus of wins or something. Yeah, you got to win all your games, dude. Dan Rio says, me love you long time.
There's a lot of baseball left to be played. And the season starts tonight, which makes me so horny. And me love you long time.
Patrick Carrillo says, hey, Todd, what section do you usually sit in? It's 260, bro. Right where you saw me last time. I'm always right there. Tony C says, no more wearing the thong and bare shorts or shirts. That brings us bad luck. Sorry, Todd. It's true. Start stealing bases already. We don't know how to bunt. Keep up the good work, Todd. No more thongs, please. Artie Sucks says, what's your ideal lineup when Trout comes back? I would have to say, start Neto at number 1, Renifo or Shonawell in that 2 spot, likely Shonawell. I'd have Trout 3, Ward 4. I would have not Soler 5. I would have Ohapi 5, Soler 6, and then go with either Adele or Renifo in that 7 spot. And then 8th or 9th would go to probably Lugo and whoever else is, mix and match Moncada. I actually would put Moncada down in the lineup. I don't like him that high. I don't know why they put him that high. I would like him towards the bottom, but that's usually what I would go with right there. The Archangel says Adele needs to be shipped away on the Greyhound bus full of balls, and baby oil. More baby oil for him. Well, he's got to think
to check out what I want. I want balls and John
Greyhound bus is Diddy oil. Randy says, yeah, no more nakedness. I'm not even going to do that bikini stuff in the playoffs. That will jinx it. The smelly thong curse, Demetro says. Patrick Creel says, imagine if you got on the Jumbotron as the clown. It would be so great. Artie would know exactly who you are. Well, the thing is, Patrick, I've been on the Jumbotron as a clown 4 times. Four times. I was even when they had a band in center field by the Bourbon thing, or no, moreover by the Flags, they had a band playing there, and I grabbed a couple of my Thunder sticks and I kind of twisted them into like a guitar, and I was doing an air guitar right in front of him. And then the guitar dude was like jamming next to me. He was like, hell yeah, this is pretty cool. And I was on there just I looked like a goofball, but then I walked around the concourse and everyone knew me. They were like, hey, little honk. And then I got on the camera again. And then when I got to my seat, I got on the camera. And then there was a couple other games I got on. So it was more than 4 times. So yeah, they don't really like me on the Jumbotron as much. But that was before I got kicked out last year. So Adele is just a Joey Gallo. Yeah, right-handed. And aside that, probably the last time they'll hand out giveaway items in plastic bags. Yeah, that was pretty ghetto too. Mario says, first we had a pepperoni gate. Now we have an ass gate, Hugo Lombardi. And hopefully it doesn't go any further than that. Believe me.
What the hell's going on out here?
Also, Ron, we're not going to put that. Patrick Carrillo says, I was in section 321 today, baking in the sun. I got the whole section to the university agree for the team to stop swinging for the fences. Exactly. That's the thing, man. Sometimes you got to bring logic to the stadium. Lee says, hey, Todd, the way the Angels looked in the last 2 days with the Yankees coming to town, better take the overs on all 3 games. That is a guy I would listen to. He's very savvy when it comes to bets. Chris says the Angels fell back to earth. All of a sudden, they're swinging and missing at shit. They can't hit the ball out of the infield. Again, you make all these advances and you make all these better freaking what's it called? Better swings, better approaches. You change things up. It looks good, and you start averaging double-digit hits on the nightly just to fall back, and that's the depressing thing. Anthony says he saw me out there tonight. Thank you, Anthony. Patrick says, what the fuck? The nacho one is a fucking nightmare fuel. Scary as shit. The grill master or Randy likes that right there. Fire Washington. Randy said I had to shorten those up, but they are good. Tamir 20 says, I knew going to this Marlins series, I knew the Angels were going to play to the level of the opponents. They always do that 100%. Yes. And unfortunately, you are more than correct. Patrick Carrillo says Adele and Ward need to be traded. Tamir 20 says, good job, Randy. We love it. Kyron Paris is useless by Grill Master. Jason Hess says we should have already signed an extension for Neto and a Hoppy, 10 years, $200 million. Ooh, I don't know about that money situation, but I do know that there's people like Talking Halos came up with some really good numbers for those players. If you hadn't listened to their last episode, I suggest you do. I never really, I always say, hey man, I have respect for most podcasts that cover the Angels. Talking Halos is definitely one of them. I love how they present stuff. And if you ever get a chance to give them a what's up for us on Halos in the Infield, I'm sure they would appreciate that. They're really nice guys as well. They are real ones like us, real down-to-earth guys that will talk baseball with you no matter what the score is, no matter what the situation is. And they're pretty cool. And they had some pretty good ideas on extensions for those 2 guys moving forward. So I'll give them props where props are due. Just play Newman over Paris. At least Newman gives you a decent result every now and then. Let's see. Also, Dan says, so a new bat, one game over 500, and you wear spaghetti thong. Nope. No more thongs. What's a bunt right there? Paris is looking myopic. Grillmaster says, by the way, Todd, thank you for letting me on earlier today. Game from last night. I had fun. I'm glad you were able to come by. Tony C says, I would like the Angels to need to look into bringing up Kevin Pillar from the Rangers, who was released today. That sucks because, again, he was only taking that job from what I seen because he has a ranch close to Arlington, and so he got the job right there. So, well, I would take him at this point. Rally Chris says, Angels still are 13-10 so far this month of May. Looks like my prediction I called weeks ago is going to be true, 16-12 or 15-13. Let's see what happens. Because anything can go wrong with this team. Also, Ricky says, I'm alive. Wow, Wash really wanted us to lose tonight. He sure did. And last night, Ricky, I think we were trying to get him on, and Ricky was just all over the place, or a couple nights ago, I should say. Angel Sex says, Pirates, Orioles, Marlins have all beat us this year. Embarrassing. Get Pilar or Chris Taylor. Don Hammond says, this series absolutely angered me and disgusted me. I'm not going to lie. Bullshit. We lose that trash-ass team. It makes no sense. We're fucking at home. We should have won. Absolutely. I was pissed this entire freaking time, dude. We just let them do whatever they wanted to, and they really didn't kill the ball at all. No deep shots, none of that kind of stuff. They weren't beating up our pitchers. We just didn't execute hitting-wise. So, again, you could blame the starting pitcher all you want, but if you're not hitting, you're not scoring, it doesn't matter. They were just ruining it at the plate.
Phillips, you're ruining it. Ruining.
They were ruining it. And they look like this. Or they sounded like that, actually. We're not even by winning.
I'm by winning. I win here and I win there. Now what?
No, we didn't win. We did not win. Also, let's see. Paris is so fucking bad. Send him down, dude. He's a fucking 50% strikeout rate, the worst I've ever seen. Yeah, he's really bad. Patrick Carrillo says, you're in section 260. Yes, sir, I am. Also, Angel Sucks says the stadium was overran by families and kids who couldn't care less about the Angels. Just another amusement park day. Dippin' Dots everywhere. You'd think Disney still owns the Angels. And they were sliding down the ramps, which was pissing off the ushers. That was hilarious. Kevin Newman at least tries to have a decent at bat, unlike Paris. Gerard says, such a disappointment on a Sunday. Only thing that got me bricked up is the Todd father and his wife getting on the Jumbotron. I appreciate that, Gerard. Tyler says, I honestly hate the Halos for taking away our chances of Randy in a bikini. F the playoffs. We want the whipped cream. You heard the man. Mateo says, this is what I have to say about Wash. You're a dumbass. Tony C says, the Angels look so good against good teams and crap against bad teams. I heard Torrey Hunter is coming out of retirement. Tim Sammy will be the next hitting coach. Release Renifo, Adele, Tim Anderson, and Newman. Well, okay, well, that seems to be an idea right there. Gerard says, I was telling my wife, I know him. She was like, who? The wife don't get the Hiti Nation. I appreciate that, Gerard. She's like, who's that dipshit up there? Rally Chris says, how was Papa Fox feeling about the Miami series? Dude, I got home, I pulled into our driveway, and he was already like, that team can't do anything right. That's a lousy lineup. I'm like, you don't have to yell. Like wait for me to get out of the car. He was so pissed off. Dinner's ready. Grillmaster says, well, that was running up my butt right now.
Let me tell you something about my guy, John Stamos. So I was able to go in the back bedroom and unscrew the old balls and running up my butt right now. You get out of it what you put into it. John Stamos choked on me. He was so great.
Patrick says, should I buy a ticket in 260 for tomorrow night's game? 714 tickets, 714 tickets. Yes, you should. And yes, I will be in 260 tomorrow. I don't know about Tuesday. I definitely know I won't be there Wednesday. By the way, 714 tickets. Here's a quick commercial. commercial. Here's a commercial. Tired of paying service fees and taxes for tickets and concerts? Well, guess what? There's an alternative, and that is 714 Tickets. Yes, 714 Tickets is the price you see, is the price you get. Ron Holt has set up this website for you and for us as Halos in the Infield fans. And by putting in HITI in the promo code, you get 10% off of your purchase every time. Not just one time when you sign up. No, every time. And not just for the Angels, not just for the Dodgers, for basketball, football, hockey, and concerts. Use the 10% off HITI code as much as you want. Isn't that great? Plus, you get 5% more of savings off of your purchases for future purchase of tickets going forward. 714 Tickets is awesome because, again, the price you see is the price you get, and you don't pay all these crazy service fees and taxes. If it's $28, well, guess what? It's $28 plus the 10% off you get by using Halos in the Infield, HITI, at checkout. So what are you waiting for? 714 Tickets, 714 Tickets. Tell them Halos in the Infield sent you. There you go. That was my best impersonation of, hey. Also, Angels were like Todd in a thong. It hurt my eyes. They couldn't hit the ball. Todd is like, Dad, let me get to the front door at least. Tailgate, I'll have some information on that coming up right now. Mateo's at a family party, so have fun, my boy. It was good seeing you. It really was good seeing you, Mateo. That's a good dude right there. Same with Grillmaster as well. Two good dudes right there. Probably a tasty nut for dinner. Shut up, Rally Chris. Also, Mario says, I miss the days when we were winning before the incident. Q Lombardi. The incident is the thong incident, I guess you're referring to. What the hell's going on out here? Yeah, in fact, Roger also loves good protein nut in his mouth. Nick Tate says Renifo's bat is gone. Christian Moore is going to look good when it happens. You know what? I thought Nick Tate, real quick, last thing I'll say, I really thought that he was going to ball out this year, Renifo, and I thought he was going to try to get himself a long-term or at least an extension with the Angels, and or at least get himself a, what is it called, a extension with somebody else. But I don't think that's going to happen now. I mean, dude is still batting just above the Mendoza. Second call for dinner. If I get a third one, she's going to be really pissed. So I've got to go. Sorry for the last show, but I'm glad everybody was on. Shout out to everybody out there. Have a good rest of your Sunday afternoon. Enjoy Labor Day tomorrow. Enjoy it with your family. I'm going to be out paintballing tomorrow, so that should be pretty fun. So, yeah, everyone have a good day today with family and friends. Enjoy it, and we'll catch you tomorrow at the Yankee game. Come by and say hi. I'll be in 260, and then we'll be on the postgame show. Good night, everybody.